Meeting of January 10, 2022. And please join me on the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'll also point out that there are two exits to the left and to the right, if they are needed. Communications. So I'd like to thank the volunteers, first of all, that we're going to be appointing, reappointing, and everyone else that's on our committees. So thank you all very much for your service. I do have one email I'd like to read. I'll just read the pertinent parts here. This is a note thanking our highway department. It's from John Lemke. He asked me to please thank our highway department for the good job plowing in his neighborhood. His cul-de-sac was plowed just after 5 a.m. this morning. This was Friday. And again, sometime around 8:30. As usual, they did a thorough job. So that's all I have for communications. So we'll go ahead with the staff appointments. We will be documenting all of the committee vacancies on our website, just as an FYI. So anyone who may be interested in serving on one of these committees should send a resume along with a letter of intent to Mary Hafter. Her email address is benefits@lewisboro.gov.com.
So following our organizational work today, they're going to be posted on the town website with individual vacancies so people know how to.
Correct. So there'll be a link to a page where we will identify all the open committee positions. Okay, so staff appointments. I'd like to motion that we appoint, and I'll go through the list here. For the town attorneys, Harold's Law PC and Gregory Foschetti. Planning Board Attorney, Judson Siebert, Keenan Bean PC. Town engineers, Kellogg Sessions Consulting PC. Town planner and wetlands inspector, Kellogg Sessions Consulting PC. Town prosecutor, Gregory Monteleone. Town auditor, PKF O'Connor Davies LLP. Fire inspectors, Joseph Angelo and Jeff Farrell. Supervisors Confidential Secretary and Benefits Administrator, Mary Hafter. Deputy Supervisor, Leo Masterson. Deputy Receiver of Taxes, Anna Bouts. The Elections Officer and Registrar of Vital Statistics and Records Management Officer is Janet Donahue. Deputy Town Clerk and Deputy Elections Officer, Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics is Jennifer Caviola. Deputy Highway Superintendent, Joseph Pesetas. Town Historian, Maureen Cole. Cemetery Commissioner, Stephen Johnson. Deputy Building Inspector, Jeff Farrell. Controller, Leo Masterson. Wild Oaks Administrator, Leo Masterson. Oak Ridge Sewer and Water Administrator, Joel Smith. Oak Ridge Water Billing Administrator, Deirdre Casper.
I would like to second those appointments.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next we start with the appointment of committee members. This is reappointment of members. I motion that Deirdre Casper is hereby reappointed as a member of the advisory committee for the disabled for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion that Rose Bonanno and Edward Ozos are hereby reappointed as members of the Architectural and Community Appearance Review Council, also known as ACARC, for 3-year terms ending December 31st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion?
Oh, sorry, discussion?
Just for the remainder of the appointments, I'd just like to state that there's a number of these I'll be abstaining to, just so the public understands, because a lot of these people are new to me. I've never met them. I don't know who they are. So I will abstain, and over the course of the next year, I hope to get to know them very well. And at the beginning of next year, I will be voting yes to everything. So I just wanted to make that clear before we started.
Thank you, Andrew. Next, the Board of Assessment Review.
We didn't vote.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Andrea Rendo abstains.
Okay. Let's see. Motion, this is for the Board of Assessment Review. I motion that Lawrence A. Mandelker is reappointed as a member of the Board of Assessment Review for a 5-year term ending September 30th, 2026. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Andrea Rendo.
All, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Conservation Advisory Council. Motion to that the Honorable Eileen Nadelson, Linda Ray, Joseph Tanzi, and John Wolf are reappointed to the Conservation Advisory Council for 2-year terms beginning December 31st, 2023. Do I have a second?
Expiring December 23rd. You said beginning.
Expiring December
Yeah,
21st,
sorry.
31st,
As
2023,
amended.
sorry.
Second.
All in, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Emergency Management Committee. Motion to reappoint. Let's see here, it's a long list. Peter Rippinger, Dan Murtha, Al Malillo, Mike DeVito, Jeff Peck, Adam Oakes, Joe Smith, Christopher Rust, Michael Lynch, Pamela Veith, and Dana Makelum are hereby reappointed to the Emergency Management for a 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2023.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The Grants Advisory Committee. Motion that Beaty Puddleluck and Robert Collins are hereby reappointed to the Grant Advisory Committee, and Adam Oakes is appointed to the Grant Advisory Committee for 1-year terms expiring December 31st, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Housing Committee. Motion that Linda Presswolf and Andrea Kirk are hereby reappointed to the Housing Committee for 2-year terms ending December 31st, 2023. Do I have a second?
Andrea Rendo seconds.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Landmarks Advisory Committee. Motion that W. Theodore Strauss and Janice Strauss, Maureen Cole, and Albert Cole are hereby reappointed to the Landmarks Advisory Committee for 2-year terms ending December 31st, 2023.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The Open Space and Preserves Advisory Committee. Motion that Rose Bonanno, Stephen Morowitz, George Scott, and Jim Berenson are hereby reappointed members of the Open Space and Preserves Advisory Committee for 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I
Second.
have a second? Thank you, Rich. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Andrea Rendo abstains.
Parks and Recreation Advisory Council. Motion that Ian Harris, Meg Kaplan, Jennifer Castellano, Rich Elrod, Pietro Cipriano, Daniela Goldman, and Melissa LaSavage are hereby reappointed members of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Council for 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2023. And Valerie Cancro is hereby appointed as associate member of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Council for a 1-year term expiring December 31st, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee. Motion that Doris Peter, Patrick Moore Suzuki, and Christine Chopin are hereby reappointed members of the Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee for 4-year terms expiring December 31st, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Andrea Rendo abstains.
Motion that Janet Anderson is hereby reappointed as a member of the Planning Board for a 5-year term expiring December 31st, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
All,
Was that me? Oh, I'm
discussion,
sorry.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The wrong version, sorry.
Oops. Stormwater Management Committee. Motion that Ron Tettleman and Joseph Angelo are hereby reappointed as members of the Stormwater Management Committee for 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Sustainability Committee. Motion that Robert Fishman, Robert Carpel, and Thomas Kelly are hereby reappointed as members of the Sustainability Committee for 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The Veterans Advisory Committee.
Andrea Rendo abstains.
Veterans Advisory Committee. Motion that Frank Kelly, Adam Oakes, Doreen Nastasio, and Leah Pizer are hereby appointed members of the Veterans Advisory Committee for 2-year terms expiring December 31st, 2023.
Andrea
Oops.
Rendo seconds.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Zoning Board of Appeals. Motion that Tom Casper is hereby reappointed as member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 5-year term expiring December 31st, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's see here. Appointments of chairpersons of committees, councils, and boards. Let's make sure we have the right. Okay. Okay. I'll let Rich Scarron do the motion this time. Read down the list, Rich.
Okay. Going to move to make the following appointments of chairpersons of committees and councils. Advisory Committee for the Disabled, Alexandra Morris. Antenna Advisory Board, Joseph New. Architectural and Community Appearance Review Council, Rose Bonanno. Board of Assessment Review, Lawrence A. Mandelker. Cable Television Advisory Committee, Dean Travellino. Conservation Advisory Council, John Wolf. Emergency Management Committee, Adam Oakes and Tony Gonsalves as deputy. Grant Advisory Committee, Dottie Padalak. Housing Committee, Andrea Kirk. Landmarks Advisory Committee, W. Theodore Strauss. Open Space and Preserves Advisory Committee, Greg Monteleone. Parks and Recreation Advisory Council, Ian Harris. Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee, Doris Peter. Planning Board, Janet Anderson. Stormwater Management Committee, Paul Lewis. Sustainable Committee, Robert Fishman. Veterans Advisory Committee, John Lemke. Zoning Board of Appeals, Robin Price Jr. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, appointments, approvals, and authorizations. The first is the procurement policy. Motion that the town board has adopted an amended procurement policy as of October 24, 2016, and said policy should be reviewed by the town board on an annual basis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Authorize attendance at conference and meetings. Motion that authorization be given for in-state travel to the supervisor, town board members, and other municipal officials and employees for attendance at annual meetings and training sessions, and be a further motion that said municipal officials and employees of the town shall submit a request for attendance at such meetings along with an estimate of costs to the town board in advance of such meeting. And that attendees be reimbursed by the town for reasonable budgeted expenses incurred by their attendance at the meeting/training sessions. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
58.5 cents a mile, right, John?
That's next.
Oh, next.
That's,
Oh,
that's,
next. I'm
we're
ahead.
not there yet.
Sorry.
Slow down.
Backwards.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, on the memberships, this is the authority to join organizations and pay dues. That membership, a motion that memberships in professional organizations for 2022 are approved and the required 2022 dues be paid. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Association of Towns. Authority to join and pay dues, training school, and reappointment of delegate and alternate. Motion that the town board does hereby approve the continuation of the membership of the town of Lewisboro in the Association of Towns for 2022 and pay the annual membership dues in the amount of $1,500. And further motion that Supervisor Gonsalves is hereby appointed as the 2022 delegate, and Councilman Daniel Welsh is hereby reappointed as the 2022 alternate delegate, and are authorized to vote on behalf of the town of Lewisboro at the annual meeting and training school of the Association of Towns of New York State, to be held virtually on February 20th through the 23rd, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Parks and Recreation, setting of the seasonal salary ranges. Motion at the 2022 part-time seasonal staff salary ranges as proposed by the Superintendent of Parks and Recreation in a memo dated January 7, 2022 is hereby approved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mileage. Here you go, Rich.
It's like that.
Motion that town employees and elected officials shall be reimbursed for use of a personal vehicle for town business when a town-owned vehicle is not available for use at the per mile rate set by the IRS, which is currently 58.5 cents. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Authorization of a kennel agreement. Motion that the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign a one-year agreement for a term expiring December 31st, 2022 between the town and the South Salem Animal Hospital, which provides for holding and sheltering dogs in accordance with the provisions of the New York State Agriculture and Market Law. And in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 105 of the Code of the Town of Lewisboro, at a cost of $45 per 24 hours or part thereof, and $37 if dog belongs to the town of Lewisboro. I'm assuming that should say belongs to a resident of the town of Lewisboro and is waiting to be adopted out. Said approval subject to council's review of the agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Are we sure about that if it belongs to a resident? I mean,
There-
If the town says a dog, somebody needs a dog on the side of the road.
Oh, okay, so it's not okay, got it.
yeah,
Okay,
think
so I
it's-
take back
we
what I
have
said.
Temporary,
Got it.
temporary.
So temporarily belongs to the town,
Yeah,
okay.
all right, as amended then.
Excuse me. Library. Motion
Not
to,
amended.
We-
Wait, we didn't
Oh,
vote.
so- oh, sorry, sorry.
Dogs first.
yes, so I got the second. Anybody see you
Yep.
second it?
Yeah.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, down to the library again. Motion that the supervisor be, is hereby authorized to sign the 2022 agreement with the Lewisboro Library. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion, Andrea Rindo. What I'm about to say is probably not going to be a very popular opinion. I'll probably get some backlash from it, but over the past couple of years, I've kind of looked at the budget for the library. And I am definitely a fan of the library. I am not anti-library. However, I think it's important for the residents to understand that the Lewisboro Library is not a municipal library. It's not owned or run by the town. It's not a library that has its own taxing district. So the money that they use to run the library does not come from collecting taxes on behalf of it as a taxing district. Instead, they are a library association. And what that means is they receive a majority of their money to run the library from the town. And that money is taken out of our taxes and given a budget line in the budget in November. So most of the money goes there. And therefore we have a contract. The town has a contract with the library through which they pay this amount. The library has their own board. They determine the budget. They determine the expenditures. They determine the employees. The town of Lewisboro has no say over the runnings of the library. We just have a contract and we pay them and they run the library. So what was interesting was that it costs, according to this year's budget, they are estimating the total expense to run the library to be $642,167.45. Of that, 455,000 approximately goes to salary, benefits, and things of that nature. The remaining some odd 100,000 or well, 500,000, 95,000 goes to books and media, periodicals, West Links and programs. So out of the total 642,000 approximate budget, 100,000 goes to provide services to the public, and the remaining goes to run the library, and 455,000 goes to salary and benefits. So basically, we pay, or it costs 642,000, and out of the 642,000, it costs to run it, 100,000 goes to services to the public. So I find that very interesting. So I'm throwing it out there for people to think about, for us to consider. And in a few minutes, you're going to hear that the town board members here are being appointed as liaison, and Mary Shaw, my colleague here, is going to be appointed a liaison to the library, and she has a great deal of experience with the Lewisboro Library. And I hope that over the next year, she will help me understand why it costs so much to the town when, 455,000 is a lot of money. There's a lot of baseball fields and a lot of buildings that can be repaired with 455,000. So I'm hoping with her help that we can get the Lewisboro Library board to pay attention to their expenditures, and Mary can help me understand the cost benefit analysis for the town.
Well, just on that point, just having institutional memory, having been a member of the library board of trustees for 6 years myself, along with Mary, the expenditures, I think that the town, it's about 73 or 74% of the operating expenses that the library has. The town is an association library. It doesn't have the opportunity, the ability, in order to raise funds directly by way of taxes to sustain the operations. Also, if you were to look at all the libraries in Westchester County, the expenditure per person, I think in the town of Lewisboro is probably last as far as the amount of money that's spent per person in the town.
It is actually 35th of 35 libraries in the Westchester library system per capita. I was on the library board for 8 years, as you well know. And I know that the board and the library director try to run a really tight ship. And I would look forward to educating you on the budget process of running a library. They work hard, and I know the board of trustees also does an incredible job at their creative attempts at fundraising and supplementing. I know that a few years ago that when I was on the library board at the very beginning, we did try to have a vote on changing from an association library to a separate tax line item, changing the status of the library, and it was voted down 2-1 by the residents of Lewisboro. So within the framework, I think the library has been doing the best that they can with what they have. I know that their electronic uses have gone up, and I know that publishers also charge a lot more money. Speaking as a medical library, and I know the publishers with whom I work do nothing but raise the rates by at least 7 to 10% every year without blinking an eye.
I see that even with the money from the town and its gifts, contributions, fines, and donations, that it still looks like they're going to be over 60,000 in the red for this year.
Can I just also make one observation? I think you were suggesting that only, the remaining 100,000 or whatever constitutes services to the public, but in my opinion, the salaries also constitute services. I mean, it's the people who deliver those services every day. So you can't really separate that from services.
I mean, it's the same premises with the operations of the town. Without the employees, you can't, nothing runs. So,
I mean, without the librarian and her staff, the library is just a room with books.
Well, we can certainly,
Yeah, we'll continue.
discuss that a little further, do a deeper dive, maybe put it on a agenda for future discussion.
Absolutely.
So
we-
do I need a second?
I second.
All in favor? Oh, we did discussion, already. Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Andrea Rendo abstains.
Okay, let's see. Okay, designation of the official newspaper and alternative. Motion that the town board does hereby designate the Record Review as the official newspaper for the town of Lewisboro, along with the Journal News, which is a daily paper, as an alternative paper.
Second.
Where,
Oops.
yeah, no, it's fine. Go ahead. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Finance, designation of banks. Motion that JP Morgan, Chase, and Signature Bank are hereby approved as the depositories for town funds during the year 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Also on the finance, approved bank depository agreements. Motion that the supervisor hereby is authorized to sign bank depository agreements. Do I have a second?
Second, this is mine. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also on the finance, transfer authorization. Motion that the town supervisor and the town controller are hereby authorized to make transfers of funds not to exceed $10,000 a month among the appropriation lines of the 2022 town budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Highway Department's authorization to purchase tools. Motion to, per section 142 of the highway law, the superintendent of highways of the town of Lewisboro is hereby authorized to purchase equipment, tools, and other implements to be used for highway maintenance, construction, or reconstruction during 2022, subject to the limitations of budgetary appropriations and public bidding requirements. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
This is the January 4th, 2022 letter from Peter Rep on this, right?
Correct, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Also under the Highway Department agreement to spend funds. Motion that pursuant to the provisions of section 284 of the highway law, the agreement to spend town highway funds budgeted for the year 2022 as presented to the town board by the superintendent of highways is hereby approved.
Second.
Do I have a second? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Highway estimate and budget. Motion at the annual highway estimate and budget for 2022 as presented by the superintendent of highways hereby is approved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meetings, town board meetings, setting of dates. Motion that the town board meeting shall normally take place on the second and fourth Mondays of the month. Such meetings will normally be held at the Townhouse at 11 Main Street, South Salem, New York, or at the Lewisboro Library, 15 Main Street, South Salem, New York, at 7:30 PM. Additional meetings will be held as the board deems necessary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Supervisors 2022 liaison list. Dan, I'll look to you to read the list.
Very good. I move that we appoint the following, these are not appointments, are they? They're your appointments, aren't they?
Yes, this is right,
Oh, no,
correct.
no, okay. So I move that we appoint the following liaisons to the various committees. Advisory Committee for the Disabled, Mary Shaw. Architectural and Community Appearance Review Council, Andrea Rendo. Antenna Advisory Board, Tony Gonsalves. Assessor's Office Board of Assessment Review, Andrea Rendo. Benefits Administration Department, Mary Shaw. Building Department, Tony Gonsalves. Cable Television Committee, Andrea Rendo. Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, Andrea Rendo. Conservation Advisory Council, CAC, Mary Shaw. Court Clerk's Office, Rich Sclaren. East of Hudson Watershed Corporation, Tony Gonsalves. Emergency Management Committee, Tony Gonsalves and Mary Shaw. Ethics Board, Andrea Rendo. Finance Department, Tony Gonsalves. Grants Committee, Rich Sclaren. Highway Department, Richard Sclaren. Housing Committee, Dan Welsh. Lewisboro School Board, Tony Gonsalves and Mary Shaw. Labor Negotiations, Richard Sclaren. Landmarks Advisory Committee, Andrea Rendo. Library, Mary Shaw. Maintenance Department, Tony Gonsalves. Oak Ridge and Wild Oaks Water Sewer District,
They're split.
OW,
Oak Ridge
okay,
Water District.
Oak Ridge Water District, Tony Gonsalves and Andrea Rendo. Wild Oak Sewer, Richard Sclaren. Open Space and Preserves Advisory Committee, OSBAC, Dan Welsh. Parks and Recreation Advisory Council, Tony Gonsalves and Mary Shaw. Parks and Recreation Department, Tony Gonsalves and Mary Shaw. Pedestrian and Bicycle Advisory Committee, Dan Welsh. Planning Board, Richard Sclaren. Police Department, Andrea Rendo. Sustainability Committee / Recycling Department, Dan Welsh. Stormwater Management Committee, Dan Welsh. Tax Receiver's Office, Tony Gonsalves. Town Clerk's Office, Tony Gonsalves. Veterans Advisory Committee, Tony Gonsalves. Zoning Board of Appeals, Mary Shaw.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And with that, that ends the organizational meeting. Do I have a motion to end our organizational meeting?
So
Do I have
moved.
a second? Discussion? All in
Very
favor?
good. Let's
Aye.
move on. Aye.
Okay, now motion to start the regular meeting.
I'll move.
Second? I second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so communications. We have received the Conservation Advisory Council's 2021 annual report that was distributed, I think, to everyone. Do we normally post that on the website, Janet? I think we do, right? We can, we should.
We can if you want.
Yeah, so let's post that under the CAC committee page.
Can you send it
Sure.
Can you send it to Jen
To Jen-
and
to Jen.
myself?
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
Or I could send it.
Okay, if you don't mind, Mary. Yep. Okay. Consent agenda, approval of minutes of December 9th and December 23rd. And the monthly reports from the building department, police department. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
I have a question.
Sure.
Can Mary and I vote on minutes of meetings that we did not participate in as board members?
If you read,
No.
I don't know.
You're not prohibited, but you probably should not unless
Okay.
you don't have any basis for
That's what I
knowing
thought.
whether they're
Okay.
accurate. So I would recommend that you don't.
Okay. Okay,
So
so
break that
So we'll
down.
separate them.
Motion.
We'll separate them.
The motion to approve motion to approve the minutes of December 9 and 23, 2021. Need a second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Mary and Andrea
And the change.
abstain. Got it. Okay.
3-0 and 2.
Okay, new business.
We still have to go
Now we-
back.
We
on
have
the-
monthly reports.
Monthly report.
The police.
Oh, the
and
monthly
building.
reports, yes. Building department and police department.
I move that we accept the building and police department reports.
Second,
Andrea Rendo, second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, the new business, we have the resolution to approve the employee assistance program agreement and authorizing a supervisor to sign. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Let's see, the second resolution here is approving Partners in Safety 2022 Complete DOT, Department of Transportation Program Agreement, and authorizing the supervisor to sign.
So
Do
moved.
I have a second?
That was-
Oh, that was the so,
Oh,
yeah,
that's your-
that's, he moved.
That's your move.
Yeah. Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We get fancy on us. huh?
I know, right? Okay, public comment. Anybody in the public wish to comment? Anybody here in person? Yeah, that's fine. So just name and Hamlet. If you haven't signed in, yes, name and Hamlet, please.
Not just,
Cover your nose first.
Mask up. There.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome a new board, new year, great things ahead. I just have a comment. We're still doing the 2 minutes?
Three.
Yeah,
3 minutes.
three. We're up
3
to three.
minutes.
Okay, all right. I'll try to yield some time. So one of the things, and correct me if I'm wrong, we put on the ballot to have the highway superintendent just go to an appointment. That was voted down, correct? All right. One thing in looking at the organizational setup, perhaps an issue of that, and I heard some discussion about why would that happen, is that you lose the accountability of the public. Once it goes to an appointment, you're removing it from an accountability to the people that vote for, back in the day, the highway superintendent. So perhaps in going through the organizations, maybe we think about, and I'm not saying, it's a great idea, it just came to my mind, but to maybe create a highway advisory committee. Then if we maybe put that on the ballot again, whoever is appointed then has an accountability to a group of citizens for the issues that are going to be affecting our highways. And as someone who's one of the 684 road warriors, there's a lot of changes coming. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of issues. It will inundate 1 or 2 people. And I just think that having that as a place that our citizens can sit and, try to field all of the issues that are coming up, the corridors, Danbury is now becoming a commuter city to New York City. They're trying to cut through shortcuts through us. The more you increase the cell towers, the more people are going to be using ways to go on these roads that were designed for horses. Things like on Facebook, a Jaguar flipping over in the air and landing on its back. There's so many things that affect safety that maybe that's something to establish a committee for. And as it stands right now, that would be something that, could maybe, go right to, I guess he's close to his retirement, to start it out and see if that's something, that, can add to that part of town. The other thing is, and I noticed throughout the last year or so, there's a lot of people that come to speak publicly. And, some of them are just coming for like their one issue, their one announcement. And sometimes they would be waiting until all hours of the night. So maybe if we can try to always have like an announcement period, especially for all the volunteers, like those, they need their sleep too. Coming here sometimes is tough if they can't speak in the public comment until buried at the end of all the other work. So to always have one at the beginning and then at will, based on whatever it is, then have another one later. But have one, I'm a teacher. We have our lesson plan. It's very important to have your routine. You do this, so what are the expectations? You start the meeting, there's always certain things that always, never move. Over the last year, things are always moving, and that adds, I think, to the hot temperature of the discourse when people are waiting so long. So anyways, I'll try to go 2 minutes.
we didn't
Thank you,
get your, I don't think we got your name, Nick, for the record.
Oh, yeah. So Nicholas Lung-Baginski, Lewisboro Hamlet. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Anybody else? And-
I have 2 people when you're ready for,
Okay.
okay. Barbara Flock Mangione, I'm asking you to unmute, please.
How is that? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry. Happy New Year, everybody. I just have 2 comments, 2 things I was hoping the board could maybe discuss at some other point regarding committees and councils. The first is most of the committees do have contact emails for the chair people who chair the committees, but there are also a good amount where there's just basically a telephone number for the town offices. So I was wondering if there's any regulation or rules where you would rather have chair people put their emails up there, or do you leave that up to them? I just think it would be easier to have that on our town website, and it would probably be less work for the town employees to have to field calls. The other is having to do with minutes. I guess the usual procedure is people will submit their minutes at the next meeting, the meetings will be approved, and then they get posted after that. So a lot of times there's a 2 or sometimes even a 3-month gap with some committees. And the other thing, what I was wondering about that, because some other towns, what they do is they post the minutes and they put a disclaimer that either says unapproved or not approved or to be approved. So I was wondering if that's something else we could look into, where minutes could be posted in a more timely fashion, even if they're not approved yet, with that disclaimer. And then once they are approved, they could be considered official. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Barbara.
Okay, thanks, Barbara. Next, I'm asking Carol Cernak to unmute.
Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to congratulate and welcome everybody to the new town board, Lewisboro Town Board. It is an honor. I look forward to working with everybody in resolving the Saltum timber mulch operation and cleaning that site of the mulch piles and the timber piles and making it more presentable to the cemetery and from the people who live and have to deal with the noise and all that kind of crap that goes on over there. One question I have is how to if I have a letter that I want to have it read into the meeting, how does that occur? I've written several letters and they've never been entered into public comment. The other thing is a question about the town board meeting. We ask all these questions at these Zoom meetings and these in person, and the questions go unanswered. So it's like a vicious cycle. It never gets resolved. So I would like to see that to change. And mainly, here I am again about the salt dome and the operation that potentially you're getting ready to go into contract with for another commercial operating company. Just keep in mind we're a municipality and you need to regulate yourselves within that municipality as you don't have the land there to operate on a commercial basis. And that's it. I know everybody wants to say, we'll keep you in touch, but the problem is you keep me in touch after everything's said and done. So I don't appreciate that. And if I can offer any of my knowledge and my assistance as a 30-year property manager of Farview Farm, please give me a call. I'm more than happy to help you, myself and my husband. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Okay, thanks, Carol. Next, I'm asking Marissa Beaty to unmute.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to welcome Miss Rendo to the board. I'm so glad to hear somebody raising a concern about some financial matters in our town. So thank you. I'm also super ecstatic to hear that you will be a liaison with Tony, working with Oak Ridge Water. Carol is unmuted at the same time. So thank you, Andrea, for joining such a complicated mess over here. I just wanted to ask again, Tony, on December 9th on public comment, I had asked about a status update on the septic issues down on Fox Run. I have not received any information. I just want it to be known publicly yet again that we had another issue with our septic on Fox Run. I know that I think it was in September, you approved some funds for an emergency fix. So I've been asking, and I'll ask once more for an update on the septic issue, not the current issue. I want to know about the overall septic issues at Oak Ridge. I would like to know if you've moved forward and secured any of the funding that you, Tony, had applied for. These are really important things that we are looking for answers on. And at any given point, we would love to hear from Tony and Ms. Rendo. That's it.
All right.
Thanks, Marissa.
Thank you, Marissa. And that appears to be it.
That's it? Okay. Okay, approval, motion to approve claims. Oh, close public comment. Yes. Do I have a motion to close public comment?
You do.
Motion to close. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And motion to approve claims.
I move that we approve the claims as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Polling of the board. We'll start with Andrea.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to serve our community. A couple years ago, when I ran in 2020, I made a promise that if I was elected, that I would not take the salary, that I would donate it back to the town. So I just want to let you know that even though I didn't make that promise this campaign season, that is my intention, that I do not intend to take the salary or the benefits as part of my service to the town. So thank you, everyone, again for voting to put me here. And I hope that I'm able to do the job that you elected me to do.
Thank you, Andrea. Mary?
I also wish everyone a happy new year and thank you for electing me to this office. I'd like to remind you that our numbers for positive counts of COVID have gone up to 353 at the last posting from Westchester County. And remind everyone to be vigilant and careful, to practice smart movement in public spaces and take care of yourselves and your loved ones. And I look forward to working with everyone on the board. And it's an honor to serve.
Thank you, Mary. Dan?
Welcome, Andrea. Welcome, Mary, to the board. Looking forward to a new year here. I don't have anything else to add other than Happy New Year. Wishing us all a good one.
Thanks, Dan. Rich?
Just want to wish a happy and healthy new year to everyone in the town of Lewisboro. Want to welcome my fellow board people here, Mary and Andrea, and it's nice to serve next with people who are not strangers, people you're comfortable with, people you've known, their commitment to our community, their years of service to our community, and I'm sure they're going to roll their sleeves up, but they say, and we'll all get right to work on behalf of our community, working together. Want to just express my gratitude to all the people as we go through our organizational meeting, all the people that are giving of their time and their steadfast commitment to our community on behalf of all the boards and all the committees. As someone who's served in that role for many years on different committees, it's such an important part of our community. We could not do what we do without the tremendous work of our volunteers and our boards. We are completely blessed in our community that we have people of so many different backgrounds and experiences, which make our committees and such a rich opportunity and just a great resource for our community, which helps us to do what we can do. So thank you for all those people who have such a steadfast commitment and to our community over many years. We thank you for that.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah, I also want to wish everyone a happy new year and welcome my two new colleagues, Andrew Rendo and Mary Shaw, to the board. Looking forward to working with you both. The first thing I want to acknowledge is I was invited to, as was Peter Parsons, to an Eagle Scout Court of Honor yesterday for the Vista Boy Scout Troop 101. And it was a great event. I unfortunately had to leave a little bit early before the awesome lunch that I understand they had for folks who attended. But I want to recognize the following scouts for attaining the rank of Eagle, which is the pinnacle of scouting. And as a father of two Eagle Scouts myself, and the many years that I've spent as a assistant scout leader in Scouts, I know what these young men went through to get to this point. It's not easy, and the fact that they stuck with it is a tremendous indication of who they are. So the 6 scouts are Logan Assesti, Christopher Castellan, Tejas Chimati, Jack O'Reilly, Ryan Parker, and Seth Samuelson. So thank you all very much for doing what you've accomplishing what you accomplished, and we look forward to having you at a town board meeting at a later date to present you with the town proclamations. So thank you very much, Boy Scout Troop 101 and the New Eagle Scouts.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, boys.
A couple of other things. So let's see here. Thank you, Nick, for your comments. We actually do have a public comment period, usually at the beginning of the meeting. This time around, we decided to just have the one at the end. Sometimes we do two, because we knew this was going to be a fast-moving discussion of the organization, and it was going to go by pretty quick. So that's why we only had the single public comment. But usually we do one at the front end of the meeting, and then a second one at the end to cover if anyone has a public comment regarding anything that was discussed in the current business. Thank you, Barbara, for your comments. We'll definitely address your concerns, take a look at them and see what we can do there. Carol as well, will be in touch with you as we make further progress. Regarding reading letters at the meetings, we certainly email the board and request that your letters be read, and we'll strive to do that for you. Marissa, regarding the septic, so we had a problem 3 months back maybe with one of the transfer pump stations at Oak Ridge that pumps wastewater to the wastewater plant. That was fixed. We replaced a control panel that went bad, and we ended up putting in a new pump and bringing the electronics above ground so that they don't get flooded like they did last time. So we have a new and improved transfer station. That was the one problem we had. The problem we had recently was it was a clogged waste line. It was a line that serves the residential plus, I understand, the commercial side. When they unclogged that line, they found a lot of grease and a lot of things that shouldn't be flushed down people's toilets. And coincidentally, just a couple of weeks before, I was talking to VRI, they had brought to my attention that they're seeing more and more, or an increase of these items that shouldn't be flushed. They're finding them in the screening equipment at the plant. So there will be a notice sent out to the community, some guidance on what you should not be flushing down the toilet. But that was the problem that occurred last week. But it's been fixed, so we're good there. And fortunately, it was, in terms of impact to the residents, it was minimal. I think there were only 2 people, as far as I understand, that complained that indicated that there was some backup or slow flushing. As far as the funding, yes, we are still waiting to hear back from the federal level. The initial application that we submitted for funding through the infrastructure bill didn't go through, but there is an appropriations bill that is so it's still alive in there, and I'm waiting for an update. My contact at Congressman Maloney's office is out until the 12th, and we agreed to touch base after the new year. So we'll keep you posted on that. The WIA grant funding is still in process. So that's the one that would provide up to 60% reimbursement for the expansion of the plant to mitigate the PFAS issue. And I think that's all I have. So thank you all very much for coming out tonight. And yes. So the next town board meeting will be held on January 24th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. at the Lewisboro Library here in South Salem. I'd like to motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel items.
To discuss what?
Personnel
Appointments?
appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and a real estate discussion as well.
Second.
Second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So thank you all very much for coming out.
Okay.